Guys, we are back in the super sunny, sweaty and hot Singapore. Home! Finally, I'm home after a year. Recently, I saw a lot of travel vlogs ranking Singapore as one of the worst places to visit because they claim that there isn't much to do here in Singapore. And true enough, Singapore is a small country, but that doesn't mean that we don't have anything much to do. If you're looking for scenic stuff and natural landscape, then of course we won't be able to offer those to you because Singapore is planned for being a transit city, not really a destination because of our geographical size. But that doesn't mean that we don't have anything to do. In fact, we have some amazing buildings, some cool places, and also heritage building, and not to mention, some of the most amazing food can be found here in Singapore. So if you're ever transiting in Singapore, here's 24 hours on what you can do in Singapore. Let's go! Kicking off, our first stop is a store that serves up one of the most iconic dish of Singapore. A lot of Singaporeans start their day off eating breakfast at a hawker centre, especially during the weekends. It can be called a hawker centre or a food court, and one of the most popular dish that we have for breakfast is called bak chor mee, which is basically minced pork noodle. Typically there will be minced pork, liver, lean pork and some pork balls. Sometimes there will be mushrooms. And today we are here at this hawker centre. It's called Taiwan Eating House. This particular store used to be located at Hill Street, and legend has it that it's one of the best, if not the best, pork noodles here in Singapore. So I'm very fortunate to be here today to try it. Since 1930, the same family has been serving Singaporeans their signature bowl, staying true to the original recipe. Long before Michelin recognition came to Singapore, this stall was one of the first 2 street food vendors in the world to receive a Michelin star. Now, as a huge fan of minced pork noodles, I couldn't be more excited to finally try this legendary bowl. Right, our noodles have arrived. It's quite unbelievable that this plate or this bowl cost $8. What? Typically, the usual price of minced pork noodles in Singapore costs only about $4 to $5. But this is the infamous Hill Street Taiwan pork noodles, so I guess their reputation precedes the price. And they've been also awarded the Michelin award quite a number of times. So we shall put that to the test today. I know I'm Singaporean, but this is my first time trying it. And it has been raved for many years, and I've always wanted to give it a go, but I just haven't had a chance. So today is the perfect opportunity to try it with you guys. So if this is your first time ordering mincemeat noodle, usually you can choose the type of noodles that you want. But for this shop, it's a bit special. They only sell it with mee pok, which is sort of flat noodles that are cut in half an inch size. And then you are supposed to choose whether you want it to be dry or soup. I prefer it to be dry, and then the soup is on the side. If you get it dry, you can order it with chili, tomato or ketchup and vinegar. Usually I get all 3, so it's chili, ketchup and vinegar. So it combines all the flavor. First, you want to cleanse the palate and try the soup. It's so porky, so clean at the same time, but full of flavor. I think they can survive just by selling the soup on its own. There is a very nice bite to the noodle, and it catches all the seasoning, all the flavors in that one mouth. Better worth the $8. That is just so disappointing. It's just layers and layers of flour, not much meat inside. I'm going to try the tiny meatball next. It's good, but it's just a normal meatball. I've had better. Pretty disappointing so far. The cut of lean meat is so good. Very tender. You can clearly tell it's a fresh meat. Very crispy. It's not very salty, but it has a bit of a... You can tell that it's a salted fish, but it just restarts your palate, allowing you to continue eating this. Honestly, it's quite an interesting combination. So there's wonton, meatball, and the crispy salted fish. So it's quite unique, I would say. But I'm not sure if it's worth the $8. Now, I've totally forgotten about the minced meat. It's so much that you can just grab a spoonful of it, just pure meat. So I would say the serving size and the portion of meat is quite a lot. It's definitely not worth $8 though, but I would say, you know, if you never try, you never know. Some people really like this, but personally I think it's just alright. Our next stop is nestled between Chinatown and Outram Park, an area rich in history and culture. Once a vibrant hub during Singapore's colonial era, this neighbourhood has beautifully preserved its old world charm. Today, it's lined with rows of refurbished shop houses, blending heritage with modern life. We just got off Maxwell Station and we're just walking around trying to find a place called Potato Head. It's apparently one of the most Instagrammable places in Singapore. It's sort of like the Flatiron building in New York, and we're trying to find it. So it's somewhere around here. But the surrounding buildings have got this unique historical character to it. So it's a nice place to hang out. Oh, shit, it's just behind me! What made it famous was not just the unique concept of having an old shopfront facade with modern pub menu, but it's also a restaurant, bar, rooftop lounge, and a creative space all rolled into one. Each floor offers a different experience. Seriously, I'm not sure how they took those shots on Instagram without all the cars. It's just cars everywhere! Actually, I'm not too sure what's so popular about Potato Head, or maybe it's just the unique characteristics of this entire streetscape. It's actually rows and rows of old heritage buildings in Singapore. It sort of gives you an idea of how Singapore looked like before it got modernized. The surrounding streetscapes actually looks more interesting than Potato Head itself. But I guess Potato Head is the landmark of this area. So just check it out when you're here, and it's pretty cool. If you're looking for places to eat, it's filled with shop houses on the ground level that has a lot of eateries around. Alright, then just about 5 minutes walk away is the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple. It's a very significant temple here in Maxwell, but apparently it's been here for quite a while. So let's go check it out. But man, just check that out. The skyscrapers in Singapore is just packed to the max. That's what's gonna happen if land is scarce. Land is precious here in Singapore. Despite its historic look, the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple was only completed in 2007. Its distinctive name comes from a revered artifact which Buddhists believed to be Buddha's left canine tooth. By the way, the aforementioned canine tooth of Buddha is housed in a 220 kg gold-plated giant stupa. Yeah, bling bling baby. Okay, I think this is the main prayer hall. It's super grand, super ornament, and it just feels like we're back in China. I think you can put some coin here for good luck and fortune. I think this place is super popular during Chinese New Year where everyone's praying for good luck and fortune. We're going to the next chamber, which is just walls and walls of Buddha imprints and statues. Have you guys seen the James Bond film? This looks like the Oriental Chinese casino in Hong Kong where it was shot. My bad. The film was shot in Shanghai, but that aside, this temple cost 75 million Singapore dollars to set up and is based on various elements of Tang Dynasty architecture. So that explains all these tiny little bowls with 10 cents inside. You're supposed to offer $10 worth of 10 cents each into this bowl. So there should be 100 bowls here, 100 Buddhas that you have to give offerings to. Pretty cool, ritualistic thing to do. Okay, when you come in, you're supposed to rinse the Buddha and ward off all evils, but most importantly is to wash off the bad places. So for example, if you have a bad stomach or you have a bad headache, you sort of wash that area of the Buddha. We didn't want to stay long because it started to get packed. Now, just a few minutes away is Chinatown. When Sir Stamford Raffles founded Singapore in 1822, he set aside this area for the growing Chinese community. While you're here, you might as well visit Chinatown. It's just next to the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple. This is the busiest place during Chinese New Year. A lot of people have to come here, check out the snacks. A lot of Chinese New Year goodies are being sold at this point of time. A lot of murals street art, Chinese food. Yeah, just a very good vibe to be around during Chinese New Year. But if you're looking for interesting food like durian or Chinese New Year snacks or Chinese restaurants, there's a lot of unique ones here. Oi, Dongbei cuisine! Throwback to China! If you're looking for traditional souvenirs to bring home for your friends and family, then this is the place to go to. So things are affordable. You can bargain here, but not too much. Check the Oriental goods out. See, those are the fake shop houses. Oh, actually there are things behind it, but there are some that's, like for example, that window over there is not real. Or maybe it is. I'm sorry, it is. It probably belongs to the shop that's on the ground level. But for me, growing up in the early 2000s, Chinatown was all about Chinese New Year. The night markets were always a mad rush, packed with people hunting for decorations, snacks, and of course, baguas. If you happen to visit Singapore during Chinese New Year, this place is just overwhelmed with snacks. Literally, every single shop will offer free tasting for their products. It would be the best spot to grab any souvenirs back for your friends and family. A lot of free stuff. Oh my god, the cooling drink. I don't know what it is, but that grass jelly like drink is just so cooling, so refreshing in this hot weather. It looks like it's gonna rain. So let's hop on to the next location. Sure, there's a lot of modern and historical buildings in Singapore, but having lived abroad for so long, I never truly appreciated just how green Singapore is. No matter where you go, there's always a tree, a plant, or water feature nearby. It's not just about keeping the country cool. It also kind of makes everything feel more vibrant and inviting. Speaking of greenery, how about a little green hole in the middle of the city? Hello, we have made it to the Fort Canning Park and we are at the tunnel where you've got the popular Instagram shot. And apparently there's a huge long line in front of us. Oh my god, I wasn't expecting this. I thought it was during Chinese New Year and it's not going to be so packed, but I was wrong. I was so wrong. I didn't even know that could be an attraction. But I mean, anything goes, right? We're going up to check out the other places, but yeah, if you have time or if you ever want to take a shot from there, come earlier to beat the crowd. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the golden hour soon, so there'll be more people there. I mean, it's quite a nice park around here. It's in the middle of the CBD and there is a national museum nearby. So I guess if you're ever here, you can visit the garden or also go to the museum. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it to just be a hole. But it really looks quite unique. Like you've never seen such a landscape in Singapore. Fort Canning Park is a hilltop landmark in Singapore with a rich past dating back to the 14th century. It was once the site of royal palaces for Malay kings, which later became a military base for the British. This is my first time in Fort Canning Park, but I must say it's quite a unique place because it's located in the busiest part of Singapore, Orchard Road. Therefore, it's surrounded by all the concrete buildings and skyscrapers. So you never expect to find such a green plot of empty space in Singapore, especially in the middle of Orchard Road. Singapore's founder, Sir Stamford Raffles, even has his residence on the hill. But now, this place is a popular venue for concerts, outdoor movie screenings and festivals. The National Museum is Singapore's oldest museum. Dating back to 1887, it showcases the country's history, culture and heritage through immersive and interactive exhibitions, such as the stunning digital installation by Japanese collective Team Lab. Where we're heading next was once a red light district in Singapore, but has since transformed into a trendy shopping and entertainment hub. We're now at Bugis, and for those who were born in the mid-80s to the late 90s or the early 90s, Bugis will have a special place in our heart because this is where we grew up and we hang out in this place during the weekends. There are two faces to Bugis. One is the mall area, where there's BHGs, there's a cinema, but on the other side is the more street shops area. It's called Bugis Street, and it is the more popular one amongst tourists. I don't think many Singaporeans shop in Bugis Street. It's a covered mall where you can get lots of souvenirs, bargain clothes, bargain souvenirs, bargain shop. So it's quite an interesting place. It's quite a rare sight in Singapore, so we're gonna have a look there. I swear to God, when I was younger, this place was packed as like you literally couldn't move. It's still very packed, but it's not as busy as before. You still can walk around. And maybe because it's during the Chinese New Year period, so everyone's off visiting, so it doesn't look as busy. In the past, Bugis Street wasn't air conditioned, so it was freaking sweaty and hot when you're here. But now it's fully air conditioned, so it's a lot more comfortable as you're shopping around here. And just outside on the alley of Bugis Street, there are these colourful stairs. It's quite a popular place for people to take pictures. I've seen the pictures online on Instagram. It honestly looks very vibrant and bright, but now that I'm here, I can safely say that those pictures are definitely photoshopped. Just take a look at those colours. Definitely needs a paint over, especially that one over there. Colour's almost gone, doesn't look blue enough. This is a grass jelly with atap seed on ice. The texture of this atap seed is very slimy, but then on the inside it's almost jelly-like, but a bit harder, a bit tougher. Singapore is proud of its multicultural vibe, and it really shows in places like Little India and Chinatown. But don't forget about Haji Lane and Arab Street, baby. These gems are tucked in the heart of the Kampong Glam district, known for its rich Malay and Muslim heritage. Here, there are trendy shops, street art, cafes and restaurants. We are at North Bridge Road. It's just on the boundary or the outskirts of the CBD, and we are here at this Sultan Mosque. It's apparently one of the biggest and grandest, most Instagrammable one in Bugis area, or in Singapore, I would say. And oh my god, it's grand as heck. It's like Aladdin. And it's within this area where there's a lot of thatch houses, similar to the ones we saw near Potato Head. But here, North Bridge Road, it's a bit busier and there's a lot more food and things happening here. A lot of Malay food, so let's check out the mosque and take some pictures. We're apparently on the main street of this area. It's filled with lots and lots of Turkish, Muslim and Malay food. And if you want to take a picture of the mosque, this alley is where you want to take that shot. It's just beside this Ayia Sofia Turkish restaurant. So I found another good spot to take a picture or a selfie. It's just on the left side of the mosque by gate 5. It should have that gantry-like thing that sort of forms a frame for the mosque. We already had something to eat, but the rows and rows of Malay food just smells so aromatic, it smells so good. The curry, the coconut rice, there's so many locals here. If you see locals eating in the food, then you know the food is legit. When it comes to visiting Singapore for the first time, then you need to come to the Marina Bay area. After all, it's the poster child of my country. So we are now at MBS, Marina Bay Sands, and I must say, if you are not someone who loves shopping or the boutique brands, then this is definitely not the place for you, because it is just rows and rows of expensive shops like Gucci, Prada, you name it, they have it. But we are going to head out to the actual hotel of the Marina Bay Sands. I must say though, the atrium here, with its multiple levels of open space and voids, feels super grand. But unfortunately you can't go up. You can only stay at the ground level if you're not a paying staying guest. And if you want to go up to the Sky Garden, you can pay a fee for it, but you can't visit the infinity pool, which is the highlight of Marina Bay Sands, unless you're a paying and staying customer. I didn't realize it before, but once you exit the hotel, this entire stretch feels like a floating forest. It's just trees and vegetation everywhere, and it feels like you're heading into a deep forest because everything is just green on the other side with the super trees poking out. It truly is quite an architectural feat, I must say. Now, it is said that when you are here, the overall temperature drops quite a couple of degrees because of all the greenery, the water features, and all the shading. I really can feel it, but I'm not sure if it's because it's about to rain and it's very cloudy and it's slightly windier than the average days here in Singapore. But it does feel a bit cooler, but still very humid. I kind of overheard some of the tourists saying that it's smaller than they thought, and I think it's quite true because from all the Instagram and all the promotional pictures, the super trees actually feels pretty large, and it's supposed to be super trees, so it gives you the impression that it's super big or it's going to be very big. But then don't get me wrong, it is big, but not as big as what you expect it to be. Right now we're going to head to the Helix Bridge. That's the spot where you can get that iconic shot of Singapore. It's the bayfront shot with the MBS, the Marina Bay Sands Hotel, and the Spiky Building, the Esplanade, and all the other significant buildings on the background of the riverfront. Right, this DNA snaky path that crosses the river is the Helix Bridge, and we're going to cross over there to take the shot of the Science Building and the Marina Bay Sands. When I was a child, there wasn't much happening around this area. It was basically the sea. Then all of a sudden, these interesting buildings popped up one by one. Did you know that the entire Marina Bay area is built on reclaimed land? Yep, pretty amazing. Now those two buildings across the river, they are known as the Esplanade. At one point of time, they used to be the icon of Singapore. They kind of resemble the eye of the housefly, and it's a place where you can watch plays and performances. It's sort of like the Sydney Opera House of Singapore. And so if you're ever interested in any shows or musical plays that are happening during the time of your visit in Singapore, then please visit the Esplanade. Look at all the structural webbing. It's so complicated and so intricate. I wonder if it's all worth it. But it did turn out to be quite a good tourist attraction. If I remember correctly, you have to go all the way to the end, just opposite the Marina Bay Sands Hotel, and that's where you can get the panoramic view of the cityscape. Not really the cityscape, but the iconic shots of Singapore. Damn it! I think the shot isn't very flattering because I'm here in the afternoon with the sun against me, so it's very glaring and everything else looks very dark. I don't know why there's always something being constructed here in Singapore, which is good. It means the economy is always growing, but it becomes very dusty and very noisy. That is the mascot of Singapore. If you are in Singapore, you have to visit it. If not, it's equivalent to you not coming here. As millions and billions of tourists have proven my point, I'm a bit unwilling to go over, but for you guys, let's do it. We're almost there, and like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, there is an iconic pose for the Malayan. It's you opening your mouth and catching the water coming out of the Malayan. But anyway guys, that is it for this Singapore adventure. This is my beautiful city. Don't ever let anyone tell you that there's nothing to do in Singapore. Almost forgot about dinner. Well, since Singapore is a bit hot and humid, how about dinner by the beach? Now, I mean, this is a must get when you're here at East Coast Park. It's satay. Satay is like meat on skewers, barbecue meat on skewers. We got marinated beef and chicken. It's usually marinated in a sweet sauce, and then it's barbecued on hot charcoal, and then it's paired with this satay sauce. It's a spicy, nutty, and a little sweet, kind of gravy-ish. It's very oily, but so good. Bad for the health, but so good for the heart. Oh, check out the peanut sauce. You can still see the little grains of peanuts in it. Smells so nutty, so fragrant. The meat is very sweet, grilled to perfection. It's not too spicy, it's more towards the sweet side. So for those of you who can't take spice, this is a perfect one. And if you're ever here, you need to get this drink. This is the sugar cane. Because the food here is generally very oily and very fried barbecue. So you kind of need it to cut off the greasiness, which makes it a perfect pairing to everything here. If you love rice, you should try the ayam goreng here. I mean, this is just, the smell of the wok hei is just so fragrant. Ayam means chicken, goreng means rice. So basically fried rice with chicken. And oh, it smells so peppery also. So hot, so flavorful, so garlicky and peppery. Just the best. This is the king of hawker food. Hokkien noodles, Hokkien mee, is basically noodles cooked in a prawn broth, and then you've got seafood like squid, calamari. It might look very plain, but it just is packed full of flavor. And it usually comes with this serving of, it's called calamansi here, which is like a honey flavored lime, citrus fruit. And then it comes with this super delicious, super umami chili sauce. It's just the best.
My flight is very early tomorrow. 6:55. But okay.
It's so prawny
I was like,
and so spicy because of the chili. And the chili has a bit of tanginess, so it's just the best combination. Another super street food, super hawker street food in Singapore that you have to try at East Coast Park is the fried carrot cake. There is two flavors. One is the stir fried with sweet soy sauce, and the other one is deep fried. It's supposed to be deep fried, crispier, but this one's a bit soggy. It's deep fried with egg, but this one is just full of egg, and you can clearly see the integrity of that white carrot cake. It's not actually white carrot, it's radish. So I'm not a big fan of the white one, but you can order half to try both flavors. It's not much flavor, just a very nice texture of a mushy radish cake, and very eggy. This is the money's worth. It's sweet soy sauce with egg as well, but this is the bomb. Other must-gets are oyster omelette. Oh, look at that combination of oysters, egg, and starch, paired with that chili. Yums, baby. Oh my god! Also, this barbecue stingray. Yeah, I know, stingray sounds weird, right? But trust me, it's a quintessential Singapore barbecue food. And finally, everyone loves chicken wings. I've never met anyone who doesn't like chicken wings. It usually comes with this lime chili. It's not spicy. I know all the chili looks very similar, but it all has a different taste profile. This one's very limey, very tangy.
And I think they do it better in Korea. Yeah, I think so.
Has such a strong smoky flavor, and the meat is so tender it just falls off the bone. Okay, dinner's done. Now, where were we? Thanks for joining us. If you have enjoyed this video and if I've given you some ideas on what to do the next time you are visiting or transiting in Singapore, then please hit the like button. Hope you have enjoyed the food, the places, and everything in this video. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe and stay so thirsty.